So I'm here in Pauline's van, and I just thought it'd be a really great time to talk about being a mom with a disability because we're waiting for our kids. Her son is tutoring, well, he's a mentor, right? What do you call it?
Yeah, I would say mentor.
Mentor for Moxie and Mac in their Aikido class. So I hang out here and wait, and I get to talk with Pauline, which I'm always really happy about. So yeah, is it cool?
Yeah.
Okay, so
absolutely.
I'm gonna ask Pauline some questions about being a mom with a disability. And first of all, this feels kind of funny, but first of all, so what is your disability?
I was born a quadriplegic amputee, so that means all four of my limbs were somehow affected. So I don't have arms and I don't have one leg. I do have a smaller leg, but it's not a normal developed leg.
So, all right. How do you think growing up with a disability affected your perspective, pride, opinions, and culture surrounding disability? I know that's a big chunk, huh? 'Cause that's huge. Yeah.
It is. I think being born with a disability, I don't think I was even...
Oops. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Right. Okay.
I don't think I was even aware that I was disabled until like junior high.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because being in the family that I was with, they didn't treat me any different. They didn't have any other expectations from me separate from my sister. It was just a very easy, normal childhood, and full of love. And I think my parents did a great job with that. But then when you start growing up, you start recognizing and seeing other people and how they perceive you. And their judgments become way heavy on you as a teenager and such, until, thank God, we all grow up.
Some of us do.
But so then I think having a disability magnifies people. So it magnifies their insecurities. It magnifies their own self-confidence and their comfort level with themselves. So I think that's how my disability, I would say, affected my perceptions of like, I guess what you said, my perspective, my pride, and my opinions and culture, that I really got to see who would accept me for me. And sometimes being a teenager, that's not always easy, but it weeds out maybe the not so genuine people.
Oh.
You're just ingrained in my conversation and don't even worry about the camera.
Man. I love it. But I gotta pay attention to this thing. Okay, sorry guys. All right. Okay, I'm gonna do it good this time. Promise. All right. So, okay. Did you have disabled role models around you growing up? Did you?
I did not.
No. Do you think if you had, do you think that would have affected you?
Most definitely.
Especially your same disability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I met people with disabilities, not the same, but just seeing someone who is also physically disabled, being a grown-up, driving, living on their own, having a job, that made a huge difference on me. I was like 6th grade when I first met someone. They brought her as a guest speaker.
6th grade?
Yeah. So 12 years old.
Wow.
When I met my first other disabled adult that I actually got to speak with. And the school brought them in as a guest. I don't know for my benefit or the other kids' benefit, because I was no longer in a protected environment. I was the only disabled person mainstreamed into regular my district school. So I don't know if it was just their way of bringing more awareness to disability, but seeing somebody else with a severe physical disability, I know helped me, because it allowed me to kind of peek into the future with not such a negative view. So I wish there were more people with disabilities out there for me to, when I was growing up, to be able to see and use as role models and to be able to ask questions, because especially as you become teenagers and you're trying to identify who you are, it's like, well, a lot of who I am going to be and the opportunities that I'm going to have are based on what other people perceive me as, not only what I want. So I think having other role models with disabilities would have been super helpful and would have saved me a lot of depression and sadness and not so nice thoughts. So yeah. So get out there. We need more people with disabilities out there in public and talking to each other.
Yes. Yeah, I wish. Did you grow up thinking you were going to be a mom?
You know what? I know this is going to sound a little woo-woo, but when I was 10, I got a very distinct message that I was going to be a mom to a boy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I was surprised when they said he was a boy.
Yeah.
In the ultrasound.
You were?
Yeah. Well, I really wanted a girl because I grew up with a sister, and so I really didn't know what to do with a boy.
Yeah.
But I remember being 10 years old and saying, you're going to have a son. And I was just like, oh my gosh. But then my question was like, okay, well, who would want to marry me? Who would want to be with me to have a son?
Yeah.
So, but I do remember that distinctly.
Yeah.
And I just kind of put that thought away.
Yeah.
So. Man. I know.
Were you scared to be a mom because disability related? Like not all this stuff about being a mom, but like just disability related.
Yeah.
Were you scared?
I think for me, more of my fear came from other people's perceptions of how capable I would be as a mom. So I remember hearing stories of other moms with disabilities where their children were taken from them because whomever just felt like they weren't going to be capable enough to care for a child.
Yeah.
And so I was a little nervous about legalities related to my disability and my ability to care for my child. And then the other one I think most moms have is like the physical pain that you'd have to go through because I don't have arms, so putting an IV in me is really difficult. They usually put it into my neck. And so I really did not want to do that.
Yeah.
So I tried to do the whole natural thing. I did a hypnobirthing, and it was a beautiful experience, but just like every birth plan, it never goes according to plan.
Yeah.
No. So
yeah.
So other than that though, no, I felt like I was equipped with the wisdom to be able to be a mom. And I know going into being a mom, I'm a very spiritual person. So when I became pregnant, I felt like, I'd have conversations with him and everything, but I really felt like God was saying, and I kind of knew that he's on loan. Like, I'm going to give you this gift, but he's on loan. So take care of him and, rear him in such a way that allows him to be the person he needs to be in order to fulfill whatever his purpose is. So.
Oh, that was really beautiful, Pauline. Oh, does your child have a disability?
No, he's fine.
Yet.
Yeah. He's a tab. Let's talk about tabs.
So what would you say are the most challenging things about being a mom with a disability?
I can tell you, probably the challenges started right kind of after he was born. And a challenge I had no idea was coming. So for me, I was thinking about, okay, he's pregnant. Okay, how am I going to hold him? How am I going to breastfeed him? How am I going to put him in his car seat? How am I going to change his diaper, feed him? All the logistics of being a mom I was thinking about. So something I did not expect to come up as a challenge was the emotional part of becoming a mom. And I think it was magnified because I had a disability. Okay, well, let me rephrase that. I felt like having him magnified my disability. So as a mom, your instinct is to nurture your child. You want to be able to change him, rock him, feed him, all these things physically. But the physical stuff is just a expression of your emotional caring for that child, right?
Yeah.
And that's you're bonding with that child.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it.
That's such a great way of phrasing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it. And I think, that idea of not being able to care for my child. So my husband had to do a lot of the physicality, and I'm just like, men do things different from women.
Yeah.
They do. And so they're a little more rough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, we're like, just start tossing my kid around. He's like a week old, But he had kids. We were a blended family, so he had kids before. So, I mean, apparently he knew what he was doing, but wouldn't do it. He wasn't doing it the way I would have done it.
Yeah.
And so the challenge for me was stepping out of the way. And, with the hormones of everything that was happening, I was really angry at him, my baby, because he was reminding me more that what I couldn't do. And so I'm pretty good about like getting out of bad emotional times. So it lasted probably about a week. I didn't want to see him. I didn't want to have anything to do with him. But basically another conversation with God.
Yeah.
And he said, and what it came down to is like, well, does it really matter how he gets taken care of as long as he gets taken care of?
Yeah.
And
it's
so
like fit is best, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like I had to step out of the way, and it wasn't about me. It was about him being cared for. And so I pulled myself out of that thought process, and I was able to enjoy my baby for what I could do with him and be with him. And that was another thing. Sorry, I don't know if this is going off subject, but we, like I said, we were a blended family. And so I had old teenage stepkids, and they adored him. And they loved on him, and they took care of his physical needs, but never once did they step in as if they have more authority over him, as if more than I did, because they were taking care of him. So they really respected my role as his mother.
That's wonderful.
But stepped in to nurture him as well.
Yeah.
So it was a really beautiful, like, it really took a village in our house. To care for our kid.
Yeah.
But in terms of, I think the question was about challenges.
Yes.
Related to my disability.
Yes, being a mom with a disability.
Yeah. And then, as we get older, it was, I can't cook for him. And, I remember him at at 7 years old, him becoming friends with other kids, and then him going to their house. And he would say to me, I wonder what it's like to have a normal mom. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
And he said, one that will cook for you and that will do your laundry and do the dishes. Like, they take care of everything, And I was just like, okay.
They're a fantasy, boy.
Yeah.
They do not exist.
I don't know. I know some moms that do. They even make their own butter.
The figment.
No, this woman made their own butter.
Oh.
It was crazy. I was like, okay, that's hard to compete with. So I'm not going to compete. I'm just going to be who I am and help him see the, our relationship separate from other people. I don't beat him, so that's a good thing, right? I can't make your dinner, but I don't beat you either, so we're kind of in the middle.
That's a good one. Do you think that people focus more on you as a mom or as a woman with a disability? Or,
I think so. I mentioned I had a teenage stepchildren when he was a baby. And so my stepdaughter and I would go out in public, and she'd be pushing him in the stroller or carrying him or whatever it was. And she would say, oh my gosh, I'm getting such evil looks. People think I'm his mom, like I'm the teenage mom. And so they couldn't even think that I was the mom. So I think in those instances, they immediately thought of me as a woman with a disability, not as a mom with a disability.
Yeah.
But as he got older, I know as people would find, like, oh, is this your son? And I'd say, yeah. And they're like, oh, well, did you carry him? Like, did you is it biologically yours?
Wow.
And I wanted to share this story with you about, we moved to Hawaii when he was 4 months old. And, we had to find a pediatrician. And so I found a pediatrician, which was hard to come by. There's a shortage of doctors here in Hawaii. Kidding. So, I found a pediatrician who would take us, and our first meeting with him, he examined my son and everything's fine. And he asked me in conversation, so, I mean, is this your son biologically? Did you carry him? I said, yeah. And he replied, and he's normal? And I was so offended. I was like, apparently. I mean, you're the doctor. Is he normal? So I think, the medical professionals have a lot of preconceptions. And if the professionals have preconceptions about a mom being disabled, imagine what just
general population.
Everyday people. But and they often say, they'll make comments, oh, is that your son? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, wow, he's so cute. I'm like, as if I could have a cute son. Good genes.
But so what would you say you're great, because I just think you're one of the most skilled people I know. I mean, you do so much across the thing, like the mothering, homeschooling. Oh my God, Pauline homeschools you guys like full hog, and like our kid is learning Latin.
Yeah, he was learning Latin. Now we're on to Spanish. Because now we're in high school.
See, and high school, and he's jumped grades, and he's doing these pre-SATs, and she's on it. She runs like our thriving Airbnb. She has her One Leg Up production company thing, which is just exploding. She makes these viral videos on YouTube. I mean, this woman does it all. I'll put links at the end of this video so that you can go and check out her channels and all of that stuff. But so she's incredibly skillful, all of these skills just coming out of her. But as a mom,
you make me blush.
But as a mom, what do you think your greatest skills are? I'm really curious about this.
As a mom with a disability, oh God, I think I don't know if it's a skill necessary, but I think it is more of a unique perspective I'm giving my son.
Nice.
I feel like, and maybe he was just naturally born this way, but I feel like he's more compassionate than other kids. He's more aware of people's needs. Because I can't do for him physically, I've had to become very skilled at talking to him. And like if he falls down, your 2 or 3 year old falls down, you want to pick him up and rock them, and it's okay, let's wipe the boo-boo off. But he falls down and I can't pick him up. So it's a matter of using my words to encourage him to pick himself up.
Wow.
And I think that is a perspective that most kids don't get. And that's unique to children raised with people with disabilities. And I'm not going to lie, I mean, he probably has had to do more than other kids.
So he's become more independent or able to care for himself at a younger age.
Yeah, and resilient. And resilient.
And resilient. Yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah.
And it's true, he is. I mean, he's also very empathetic. Like he's got that sensitivity to him.
I hope so.
Someday we'll take a video of his Aikido with Mac and Moxie and all of that. Oh my God, he's so good. So what do you wish people would really get or understand about being a mom with a disability? What like disabled parenting is all about?
Well, I think parenting, whether you have a disability or not, is just parenting. I mean, we're kind of all just doing our best. I kind of joke. I'm joking, okay, people, but I kind of joke. I'm like, either my money saved is going to go to college or counseling. So take your pick. I think we're all going to mess up sometimes, and we're all going to have successes, and we're just doing our best. I mean, there's no manual for parenting. But I really do feel as a parent with a disability, it is unique. I do feel like our children get unique insights. They, I think, you know, like you said, he's empathetic. I think that I don't know. I mean, I haven't run a research study or anything, but I feel in my gut that kids raised by parents with disabilities are often more empathetic. They feel more, they're aware of more.
Yeah, they see more, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean that literally, but I think it's just like they're able to observe things that people growing up without an experience with disability would be able to see. Like they're aware that there's a bigger picture out there, you know, that there's more to the story than X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You know?
And when he's like, when he wants to give up, I just look at him and I'm like, oh. Really? You're going to tell me you want to give up? I don't think so. Do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah.
But I think what it comes down to is that we're just parents and doing our best.
Just doing our best.
You know, it's one of the greatest gifts I could have asked for. It really is a gift to be a parent. It's tiring, but I think like with all great things, the best things take work and effort and energy and time and patience, lots and lots of patience.
Oh God, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I
think that's about it. Were there any other questions that you wanted me to ask or something that I didn't? Or things we want to talk about?
No.
Yeah, you sound like there's something.
I'm thinking. No, I'm just trying to think.
Yeah.
No, I think everything else is, I think it's good.
It's good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great questions.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're hard. They're not really fun. But.
No, but.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get deep, if you're a good parent, you could go deep and not just look at the fun stuff. And because, let's face it, not all parenting is fun. No. A lot of it's not fun.
No. It's true.
Yeah.
But here we are. We're still in Pauline's van.
We're going to wait for our kiddos.
Here, can you see? That's Pauline's driver's seat there. Yeah. Isn't that awesome? Look at all her buttons. She has like 50 million. Yeah. And all this, like, it's cool ride, man. Yeah.
You get to have mom time.
I love it. So that's why I want to end this, so I can get to talk with Pauline.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.